What works better for you to help you relieve pain temporarily? Is it the ice pack or the heat pack? What temperature does your body like better? The cold winter or the hot summer? Hey everybody, this is Sam again, coming back with another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about what can help you relieve a little bit of the pain temporarily, at least what helped me relieve some of these pains temporarily. By all means, these will not help you take away all of your pain completely, but this is definitely will help you relieve some of the pains temporarily at the time when you really need it. Disclaimer: I'm not in any of the medical field or a medical professional. Everything that I talked about are basically experience that I've been dealing with and things that I have been used on myself. Treatments and therapy that's been used on myself and applied to my own needs. If you have any medical questions, medical concerns that you need to address, please reference those to your doctor. They can give you the best advice. Thank you. So within this year, I had a multiple of surgeries done on myself. One is a hip revision surgery. I had my hips done almost 30 years ago, but I needed a replacement of the plastic parts in there. So I had a revision in April of 2024, and then in August of 2024, I had a shoulder revision surgery because I had a rotator cuff tear. I also had both of my shoulders replaced back in 2010 and 2011. So one per year. So the surgery, when it comes with the surgery, it comes with a lot of inflammation and a lot of pain. And generally, when you're in the hospital, once you have surgery, the doctors will give you a lot of ice pack to kind of help you relieve some of the inflammations. And it kind of became apparent to me a lot more recently because of these surgeries. Um, I have found out what works for me best, the the heat or the ice, and I've been using both to help relieve different sort of pain. I had used this in the past, but I never kind of pay attention too much to what actually works better, the hot pad or the cold pad. Because of my not so successful shoulder surgery, I've been having a lot of nerve damage, and with nerve damage comes with a lot of nerve pain and muscle pains. With that, I've been playing around with the ice pack as well as the heat pad to see what actually help release some of these pains. At least gives me some temporary relief so I don't feel so painful. And the short answer is for muscle pain and nerve pain, definitely heat pad and hot water, hot press works a lot better for muscles and nerves for me. But joint pains, when it comes to the joint pains and bone pains, um, the ice pack will definitely work better. And I do better in warm weathers than freezing temperatures in like certain area of the world. Let me show you what I have in my possession that I own from many years ago, as well as some of the couple of the new cold pad and ice pad that I bought, within the recent year after my surgery. On this corner laying on the couch relaxing is probably by far the largest heat pad I ever owned. I bought this thing. This thing has some kind of a rock in here that warms up, and actually it feels quite good because this thing you can actually lay on your back. And going down here, this is more like a bean bag. It's quite small. This is not one of the big ones I bought. It's a small one. You can get these much bigger. This thing will warm up pretty quickly. Now I got a water pouch here. These are very traditional heating device. And on this corner is an ice pouch that you can just fill up ice with. And here I have another ice pack. This is an ice gel that you can put in the freezer. This large heat pad I really like. During the time when my spine is fusing, it hurted tremendously, and I rely on this thing a lot. So I just lay my back on there. Now, definitely when I talked about the heat doesn't really help my bone pain, but with bone pain comes with the back pain as well as the muscles. So this thing really actually relaxes my muscle. This thing really warms up and just relaxes my muscle. I really like this device. Now, the only bad thing is that you have to keep this thing plugged in. The good thing about this device here, it's actually quite big. There are some much bigger one that you can actually lay your whole body on. It's the size of a twin size bed, but that's too big. The other good thing is this thing actually has a switch that you can actually turn the temperature to your liking. You can warm it up a little or just warming a little bit. The bad thing about this thing is you always have to keep it plugged in order to keep the temperatures warm. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And it's because it's actually fairly large. It's not easy to kind of put away. That's the downside. This little beanie I just bought recently, not too long ago, it's mainly for my nerve pain after my shoulder surgery. The good thing about this is you can heat these up very quickly. You can just throw it into the microwave about a minute, minute and a half. This thing, you got a warm pad immediately. The bad thing is that it doesn't last too long. You get a good maybe 15 minutes or so before it cools off. This hot water pouch, on the other hand, is actually very convenient as well. It takes a little longer to boil the water. That's really probably the bad side. The good side is that once you boil the water, this thing can last almost an hour or probably even more. The bad thing is it does take a little time to boil the water, as I mentioned earlier. Otherwise, this thing is actually very convenient. Now, moving on to the ice bag. This is actually a fairly small ice bag that I bought. You can get a much bigger one. The good thing about this thing is you can easily just unscrew this and just put ice in there. And you have an ice pack right there. The bad thing is, I guess not everybody has an ice machine at home. And moving on to this corner, this is something that I bought after my hip surgery. This is a gel pad that you can just dump into the freezer. This is also a very convenient way for applying cold pads onto your pain area. The downside about this gel pad is it doesn't really last as long as well. You probably get about a good 20-30 minutes before it actually warms up, and it will take time for you to put it back into the freezer until it gets cold again. Why do I need so many of these? They work a little better in different scenarios. This little water pouch is actually very convenient to me. If I have to travel, I would probably take this. I just dump it in the luggage and good to go. Most likely, you can always find a hot water boiler somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. In the U.S., we don't really like hot water too much. I don't know if you can actually find that, but uh, maybe traveling elsewhere, you can always probably find a hot water boiler somewhere, or ask for hot waters, and this works just fine. Now, this thing, I don't know how security would treat these with these beanies in there. Besides, this thing is not going to last for too long in regards to, the time that it heats up. As I mentioned earlier, you get about a good 15 minutes or so, maybe. Yeah, the heat on this thing will last a lot longer. I just kind of like to fill it up and just put it in the area where I like to keep it on. The bad thing about this, it doesn't really stay on the areas too well. It'll kind of fall off. Now it's flat. Once it's filled up, it's like a balloon that blows up, so it kind of rocks over the area. But it's what if it's what I like to do is I kind of like to keep it, lean against the area, with the bed or the couch wherever I'm sitting. Now the beanie, on the other hand, I bought this when after my shoulder surgery, and I've been having just a whole lot of nerve pain. As you can see, my hand is still swelling. I still have nerve pain that's coming up here, this area, up here, over here, just pretty much everywhere. And whether it's nerve pain or muscle pain, whatever you like to call it, the pain is just there all over the place. Now the good thing about this thing is, like my hand, right? I can easily just kind of wrap this thing around just like this. It keeps the whole hand warm, which I really like. Although it doesn't last as long, and just throw it in the microwave for another minute or so, and I can keep this on again for another 10-15 minutes. Um, it can apply to this thing. It'll stay on here. It kind of wraps around the hand a little better with this thing. So I like this for this particular purpose. The only thing, like I said, it just doesn't last long. And the good thing is, so you can easily just throw in the microwave and just heat this up. And this is a smaller pack that I bought. I mean, there are bigger ones that I can get. And with this big guy, I can sit on it, lay on it, whatever you want to do with it. It's good. Now, these ice packs, ice bags, whatever you want to call it, it's just exactly the same. Now, this works just the same as the hot water pouch. This is an ice pouch. Very easy to fill it up. Just open this up, put ice in there, and you're good to go. And if you don't have an ice machine, you can always put water in there, just dump it into the freezer. And when you get hard ice in there, when you get hard ice in there, this will last for hours. I mean, a long time. The bad thing about this is when you fill this thing with ice, it stays like a little. It kind of like inflated, like the hot water pouch, and it'll rock in the area. If say your knee, it'll rock in this area. It won't stay on uh, very well. It will fall off easily, just like that. But the good thing with this is, like I said, it's easy to get a ice pack working for you very quick. Just put some ice in here, and then you're good to go. And for traveling, it's definitely very good to travel because you can. This thing is so small, just like this, and you can dump it into your luggage, and you're good to go. Although this thing doesn't leak, um, it doesn't work for the hot water, so I will not try to put hot waters into this thing. Just be careful with it. Hot water might burn this thing out. I don't know how well this will hold up against hot waters. When you're talking about boiling water, that's pretty hot. But I do use warm water just to wash this once in a while. Just rinse it out. That's fine, but I wouldn't keep extremely hot water in this thing and use it as a hot water pouch. Now, this thing, on the other hand, what's good about this is that just like the beanbag for the heat, this thing can kind of wrap around the areas that's going to hurt, and it easily stayed on for it won't fall off. I bought this after my hip surgery, so what I like to do is basically I just sit on my butt on this thing, and I put something against here, so it covers the bottom part of my butt as well as the side, the muscles on here, the joint pain on the side. It hurts up here as well, so it's not just hurting on the back, right? So this is very inconvenient. It just doesn't last as long. 20 to 30 minutes, yeah, it's enough to kind of freeze my butts off. It was also convenient after my shoulder surgery. I just like to just put it on my shoulder here. Although, my shoulder is not as, it'll still fall off, but it doesn't fall off as easily as that other ice bag. It can also wrap around my hand for the other pain, my nerve pain as well. But again, unfortunately, ice doesn't work as well for nerve pain and muscle pains for me. So I rely on my hot pad to relieve my nerve pains. So these are the short description of what each of these individual can do for you. During my working days many moons ago when I was still able to work, my spine was at the same time fusing. My goodness, the pain was just so excruciating. The stiffness is just ridiculous. Feel like a robot. After work, I just go home and take a hot bath, and I put in some Epsom soap. It helped me relaxes my whole body, my stiffness, my muscle pain. It just completely relaxes the whole body. It feels really good. So generally, the heat does help me relaxes the whole muscle overall. But of course, definitely not the bone pains. The bone pain is just a different story, a different type of treatment. But it does help me. The heat does help me ease my pain a little bit, and I'm sure some people can find that helpful as well. The heat, if it's not, the cold will actually help other people as well. Different people absorb the temperatures differently, so the cold might help you better. The heat might help others. I have often seen people talk about taking an ice bath. It helped them relieve pains. I would probably work better in a hot jacuzzi rather than an ice bath. Temperature does have a big impact on my body as well. And I mentioned earlier, I do better in the warm weather than in the cold weather. My body just functions a lot better in warm weather versus you know areas where you get snows, and generally it's a cooler temperature most of the time in the year. And I work better in dry weather than in humid weathers. If I go to Florida, I probably cannot stand it because of the tropical weather. I do better in the West Coast, particularly. I'm in Southern California. We have dry weather here mostly. Still a little bit humid, which is good. Not like Nevada and Arizona, where it's pretty much pure dry heat. That's actually bad for me as well. I don't know why when I get to Arizona or Nevada, I I felt like I have a little more pain in my body and a little more stiffness than I am in Southern California. I think the temperature here is just right for me. But for the people who takes an ice bath and it can, relieve some of your pain, I'm pretty sure that colder areas will probably work for your body a lot better. It's just different people can the body functions a little bit differently in different types of weather, and the weather does have a big effect with people with arthritis, and these are partially part of the arthritis family as well. So that's my story with the heat and the cold. What works better for you? Temporary relief of pain. I'm sure everybody will need it once in a while. So let me know down below. See if what actually works for you better, the heat or the cold. I love to hear your story and see what works for you and see what works for other people as well. So it kind of helps me with the things I can try on myself as well. Well, that's all for my video today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and give me a like if you like my video. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.